I don't want to sound too crazy, but it's a spirit in the States, a limiting spirit that doesn't exist here. I feel like a little kid again, where someone tells you like, oh, you can dream big and you can achieve things. It's more possible here. I think it's also due to the lack of structure here. There's a lot of times like people will ask me, what did you do in the States? I was like, oh, I was a director. I did this. And I can be whoever I want to be here. It's a chance to like create yourself, create a new person, who you want to be.
Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lala and today I have Molly with me. She's a creative director living here in Ghana and she's originally from Texas. So I have her tell you guys a little bit more about herself.
Yeah, so I'm Molly Malachi. My work name is also Creatrix. I'm 22. I've been living in Ghana on and off since 2020, but consecutively since 2022. I think, like I said, I'm a creative director. I also direct. I'm an aspiring music artist. I hope to be releasing my music soon.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so what brought you to Ghana in 2020?
Oh, wow. So me and my family, we came to come visit during spring break. That was my senior year of high school. And then lockdown happened. So we got stuck here.
And that's like a lot of people's stories.
Yeah, and my parents just decided to never go back. I went back for college for a year and I dropped out. It just wasn't for me.
In which year?
It was my first year. I didn't even... I think I was only enrolled for about 3 months. I was there on a wrestling scholarship.
Oh, well, everything happens for a reason.
It does. I'm very happy with the path that it took me down.
Exactly. Everything is in divine order. So what was your first impression of Ghana overall?
Okay, so since I was here during COVID, everything was locked down, and I didn't know I didn't have any friends or anything like that, so I didn't like it. I hated it here.
Really?
Like, I liked the land, of course, like the beaches and everything like that, but it's such a cultural shock. And I'm not like, I guess, the typical American that's so ingrained into American culture. My parents have always just said that we were going to leave the country at some point, but it was still a culture shock to me. Getting accustomed to like the way of life and just basic things like internet, AC, those type of things. It was just very
it's frustrating at first. So can you name like some of the big culture shocks? I know you said AC. We all know the power cuts out, the water, but what are like some of the biggest culture shocks you've experienced?
Before I met my people here, I've always been like a weird kid. I liked weird music. I listened to alternative music, rock music, and things like that, and that just doesn't exist here. Like, it doesn't exist at all. So I think that was one of the culture shocks, is like not having an alternative scene, or at least not knowing where to find it, because I found it now.
So speaking of you finding it, when did you find happiness in Ghana? Like, because you seem really happy now and grounded. So when did things change for you?
So I came to come visit in 2022. I was a real estate agent. So after I dropped out of college, I went into real estate. And I came to visit. And I signed up for a film festival, like a film... what was it? It was Black Star Film Festival, where they teach you different techniques of filming, screenwriting, those kind of things. And I met some really cool people.
Like creatives.
Yeah, creatives here. And it was now the grand opening of the skate park, Freedom Skate Park, which is now closed. But they opened it. And when I went, there were just weirdos like me, like a lot of alternative Ghanaian kids. I was like, wow, like this is awesome.
So the creative scene has made it like Ghana like a home for you then.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I credit one of my friends for saying like, you're the reason why I live here now. It's because if I hadn't went to that grand opening, I probably would have left. And I wasn't planning on living here. It was just I came to this and I decided never to go back.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been here now for about 4 years, right?
Mm.
So do you see yourself being here long term?
No. I believe that I'm a wanderer.
Yeah, me too. I'm just like that. That's crazy. Yeah. You really could be my soul tribe.
No, that's what I'm saying. And here, it's easier to find your people.
Exactly.
I've noticed. It's because it weeds it out.
You feel like you found your soul tribe in Ghana?
Yeah, I feel like I found some of them. Now, when I go travel to different countries, I'll find more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I found different people that I've connected with in different African countries. So what does Ghana offer in a creative scene where you feel like you found that soul tribe? What are the qualities of those people?
I think it's just, I don't want to sound too crazy, but it's a spirit in the States, a limiting spirit that doesn't exist here. I feel like a little kid again, where someone tells you like, oh, you can dream big and you can achieve things. It's more possible here. I think it's also due to the lack of structure here. There's a lot of times like people will ask me, what'd you do in the States? I was like, oh, I was a director. I did this. I can be whoever I want to be here. It's a chance to like create yourself, create a new person, who you want to be. Yeah.
So what do you think will improve that lack of structure? Because we have so many creatives. How can we come together to create that structure between Ghanaians and Americans and any other expats that live here in Ghana?
I think first it starts with accountability.
Yeah,
I think that I think when first it comes with accountability, I think that us expats, we also need to be accountable to know that we can't take advantage of the land. You know, we can't take advantage of the people. We have to still be respectful to the way they do things here.
Right.
And then I think that the Ghanaian people need to not take advantage of us
as well. Yeah.
You know, I think in general, just the way even the country is ran.
Exactly.
People are just trying to eat. People are just trying to make a way. And so the desperation is the reason why we lack order here.
Exactly. So, you lived in Texas. That's the down south, y'all. I'm from Atlanta, so I know a little bit about Texas. So what are the major differences in the culture? I know you said limiting beliefs, but what are the major differences between Texas culture in Ghana?
Man, it's so crazy because, you know, we hear like Southern hospitality, like in the States we have Southern hospitality, and then here people are hospitable, but it's different. It's like a different vibe. So like here,
what's the difference? Like,
I think that here it's compulsory. Like it's more like to keep face tight.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the States or like in Texas, they're very hospitable, but if they don't want you there, they'll let it be known.
Exactly.
Whereas here, they'll be very hospitable to you, but then behind closed doors, they might not fuck with you.
Right. Exactly.
And for me personally, I just like transparency. Yeah. So it's kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, because it can come off a little fake. Right? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, here, you know, everybody's like, good morning, good afternoon. We don't really do that.
Yeah, we don't do that either.
Unless we are genuinely like friends with you. Yeah, so that is a huge cultural difference for me. Yeah.
I think also what I had to get used to is seeing people. Like,
how? What do you mean?
In the States, we don't see people that often. Like, we're in our bubbles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I interact with so many people here on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. What is the difference in communication when you're making friends and you're networking? What are the differences in communication styles?
What I love about here is that they really do judge you off of your talent and what you can bring, whereas like in the States, when it comes to networking, it's also about how many followers you have, who are you connected to,
like status.
Status wise. And sometimes those like status barriers, like I'm unable to attain just because I'm a black woman or something like that, whereas here it doesn't really matter. So I found myself being able to get like big gigs and work with high profile people just because they recognize my talent and see a need for it, rather than being like, what have you done in the past? Who have you worked for?
That's funny. My Beatrice, she actually mentioned that on the last interview. She's also in the creative field, so that's something that you guys are starting to see. It's a common thing here. And so would you say that it's definitely more open doors then?
Yeah, it's open doors. I do have to acknowledge that like being a Westerner, it does put you at an advantage. And that's why, like, I always try to check my privilege. And that's another thing. It's like, in the States, you always hear, like, white people privilege, white people privilege.
Yeah.
I never had privilege.
Yeah.
So now that I'm sitting here and I do acknowledge the privilege that I have here, I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is nice.
Exactly, because do you feel like a white person feels in America living in Ghana as a white person?
I wouldn't say that.
I mentioned that so many times.
I wouldn't say that, only because
what privileges do you have here?
Okay, I have the privilege of benefit of the doubt. So, like, if someone doesn't know what to expect from me, and so I have more room to move around. And I noticed that, like, there's already, like, for example, like, Ghanaian women, sometimes they have it hard, like, working up in these positions because of the way the society is ran. It's very male-dominated. Whereas me being a Westerner, I'm able to surpass those barriers a little bit easier.
Yeah, because we have that autonomy in America. Yeah.
And they respect it. Because they realize that it transfers over to here.
Exactly. And they're watching us and seeing what we're doing. And, you know, basically our privilege as a whole here as women in Ghana, what I've realized is we create opportunities for ourselves. And I think a lot of the Ghanaian women are taking notes of that. So how do you create differently here than you did in America?
I feel like I'm not condensed to a box. I think of it sometimes like I was a spoken word artist and I did poetry in the States, and I noticed that I felt that majority of my work pertained to like the Black experience in America because that's what I was confined to. That's all I knew. Whereas now and leaving the country, you realize there's more facets of yourself. I'm able to find myself. So I'm able to create in that way. Like, I think of it like, you know, white directors, they can do whatever they want because there's nothing that is considered a white film. There's no such thing as a white film. Whereas like Black directors, you see the same themes, like, you know, Spike Lee and Jordan Peele, they all have Black themes. So now I'm able to I don't have to do that, you know? So I think I'm not limited to only talking about my Black experience. I recognize that's something that I could have done in the States, but also people aren't as receptive to that.
So let me ask you something. Do you think, so because you are creative, you work with Ghanaians, probably Nigerians, you know, different people from East Africa maybe. So what are the differences in networking, and do you think that unity is possible?
I don't think so. I think that there's a way for us to work together. But unity is sometimes a very strong word. Because you have to understand that one thing that I notice is that wherever I go, I'll be a foreigner. And I'll never have the same experiences as these people. There's a certain bond that they hold because they are in fact
like-minded.
Yeah, they're like-minded, you know.
Whereas we are like-minded.
So just naturally, like, we're gonna click. That's why even when I first met you and I heard your accent, I'm like, okay, like where you from? Yeah, and so I think that's possible for us to work together effectively. But me personally, I never expect to be treated equal
ever.
And I think that if you come here thinking that you'll be equal, you're gonna do a big disservice. And me working in the industry, that has proven to be correct, you know.
Do you think that's similar in relationships as well?
Okay, this is what I've learned. Like, as far as relationships, is like you would think that we're all Black.
That we would click.
We're all Black. But what I'm noticing is that me dating a white person and me dating a Ghanaian person is low-key the same because it's cultural differences. It's cultural differences. It's not about skin color. Even like in my past relationships or even relationships that I currently have now, I still have to educate them. And there's a lot of things that they don't understand. And that's just culture wise.
So, you know, sometimes that may be worth it, sometimes not. But like she said, you know, don't get your hopes up to think like we are going to be kumbaya. Like there are ways that we can work together and unify, just like the white people.
Yeah.
You know, but it's never going to be like complete unity. Now, between us, I think it's easy for us to unify as expats, you know, because we come out here with similar visions. Yeah. So overall, like how have you like acclimated within the culture itself? Do you make friends easily, or is that a difficulty for you?
So what I've actually learned is that although I love my expats and everything like that, I was doing myself a big disservice by only hanging out with American girls. And I also realized that there's competition there because it's like, it depends. Now, all this depends on who you meet, obviously. It's not with everyone. But there isn't a need for so many different American girls in the same space. And so sometimes I noticed that it was competition. It became competition. I believe that all my friends now are Ghanaian. I don't really have any expat friends that I hang out and talk to. And that has broadened and made my experience so much better here because I'm now immersed in the culture. I know what it's like. I know what it's like when they grow up. They tell me like their school experience, how it was in elementary. Those things make me feel so much more connected to Ghana. I even know like, I look back on the days when we would go out to the clubs and we'd go like to Kona and like these typical expat like club places. But now I know the real spots.
Real spots
where they really get down.
So what about like avoiding being played? Because you mentioned earlier like don't try to use us. So how do you avoid getting used? What are some things you've learned to avoid that?
I think it comes from being honest with yourself first and realizing that when you get here, you are not going to be an equal. I think accepting that first will already prepare you. And I don't think it's wrong to always get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion on something because every person that you go to will give you a different answer.
In price.
Different price. So you just, divide that and then figure out what the median or the mean, whatever that is.
So do you think it's beneficial to partner up with a Ghanaian and have them teach you the ropes and kind of hold your hand at first, or to figure it out yourself?
I kind of do that with multiple people. I feel like if you give just one person that responsibility,
that puts a lot of
power in their hands, and also I don't think it's smart. I think you need to learn from different people. Not every experience
don't attach yourself to one person, right?
Not every experience is the same too, because I've noticed that even amongst my friends, there's different classes here. And so a lot of people think that Ghanaians just overprice expats. No, they also overprice the wealthy Ghanaians.
Exactly.
It's not even so much a race thing. It's just about the wealth, like the wealth disparity here and how that works. So I roll with the wealthy Ghanaians. I roll with the people in the village. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you learn.
So that's great advice. Great advice. So overall, like what do you love most about Ghana and what do you hate the most? I always ask that question.
What I love about Ghana, there's so many things to love. I think what they say all the time is like calm. Like it's calm, it's chill. I think I love the peace more than anything. Like even amongst the people in the streets, there's a sense of peace that they have. So I really do appreciate that. I also appreciate the grinding mindset that everyone has here. Like even though they're peaceful,
something from fresh,
it's not complacent. There's no one here that I've met that I'm like, you're really complacent. Whereas you go to the States and you'll have friends, they'll be in the same position forever. Here that's just not the case. People will pivot, they'll move around.
Some people I've learned that some people, they stay in the same place because they may not know how to scale a business or how to just grow overall. But I think once we merge together, it'll be so much growth, Yeah, regardless if we're unified completely or not, you know, just to form a powerhouse team. So, what do you hate? Oh God.
Man, or not like. Also, you know what's crazy? It's like there's a lot of things that I don't like about here. And
name it. You want to know?
You know, the overpricing makes me sick.
Like,
this is one grievance that I've been really like, that's been sitting on my heart. So I'm gonna just put it here. Is that Ghana, their language is true, like, yes, but everyone here almost speaks English. Everything's written in English and things like that. But the amount of people that tell me you need to learn the language is crazy, considering that, like, not everyone here even speaks Tree. There's people
exactly
that speak
different
you know
languages.
What I'm saying? So that's been annoying me a lot recently, is like people getting on to me about not knowing the language, when I'd get it if we were in a country where everything was written, like if it was French or something. Girl, like
as soon as they see your skin color, they're just gonna overcharge you.
So that's annoying.
So wait, that's a good question, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, yeah. And then also the men be getting on my nerves a little bit too. I think what's so crazy, and this is what I've noticed compared to the Nigerian culture, because I've talked to some Nigerian men, and the men here have, but I'm gonna say, less respect for women, as far as like when we speak up for ourselves, even if it's not a threatening tone or anything.
Exactly.
You're being rude, you're being disrespectful, and I think that's because of the way that they're raised. Whereas, like, compared to the Nigerian men that I've talked to, their moms whoop their ass. Yeah. You know, and so they have a different level of respect for women.
Powerful,
and that's why you also notice, like, Nigerian women are more outspoken.
Yep.
And a lot of Ghanaian women here are very quiet,
soft-spoken. Yeah. So speaking of Ghanaian women, you can now mention maybe like the differences between Ghanaian women and American women. I know you say soft-spoken, but what else completely as a whole? And why do you think we're so different?
I think that, like, on top of us just having more autonomy for our body, the power structure in the States, the men still are on top, but it's evening out.
It's evening out.
It's evening out. And so when you're engaging with someone in the States, it's not about gender.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you talk to people like people, whereas here, there's a certain way you talk to a man, there's a certain way you talk to a woman, there's a certain way you talk to an elder. You know, it's very based off of status and how old you are. So the women here are very quiet, reserved. I noticed that not in all cases, but in sometimes I noticed that the women don't take a liking to me. Because they acknowledge how loud I am, and I think it's something that
it's shame. It's in them.
It's shamed, and I understand that it's like a projection, like the way that it's because they wish that they could. And it sucks. But I don't take it to heart. Like,
so we know about like passport bros, people like that. So do you think that this is the type of environment that they would desire to be in, to have this type of woman? And do you think it's damaging? And going backwards.
It is. I don't really
deep.
I really don't. Me personally, I feel like coming to Ghana to find a submissive wife, I think that is manipulative.
It's
manipulative, and what it's telling to me is that you can't handle a woman that will speak up for yourself
and that has autonomy and freedom.
And what these people don't know, and this is why I'm happy that it happens sometimes, is that these men come over here and they try to take advantage, not knowing that at the end of the day, this woman's Ghanaian, right?
Yeah.
So she gonna do you in.
Yeah. And she's gonna look out for her people.
She gonna look out for her people. So just be mindful, like, you think that you're gonna come here and have the upper hand. At the end of the day, this is her land. You're on her land. So whatever you think you're getting over on her, she can easily get over on you. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah, and I've heard about it. Shark Boy actually interviewed this girl, and she was talking about how they use American men.
Yeah,
and they have their Ghanaian men on the side, and they're sneaky. Some of them.
No. People here, that's one thing, like, I be telling my friends, like, you know, everyone here is so polite and stuff like that. Nah. No, they're sneaky, and it's just a game. Like,
yeah, I mean, everybody, once you try to manipulate people, they're also trying to manipulate you as well. It's just a vibrational thing. They're not dumb. Yeah. So, you know, do you think if the women here had autonomy, that they would be completely different?
I think, I would think so. Definitely. I think it'd be more similar to like how the Nigerian women are, or maybe like even I've been to Jamaica briefly, but like how Jamaican women are, like more outspoken.
Exactly. So we could get into this deep. So in America, we have like this divide between man and woman, like, you know, like we almost hate each other. So what do you think we need to improve in America, and what can they improve? Well, we just spoke about what they can improve here, but how can we improve our issues in America or in the American culture?
Them men are down bad.
The trauma.
I think it comes from, there's a lot of hurt people, and like definitely for me, like doing the work in the generational, like trying to work on the generational trauma that's inside my house. Like, just, I don't want to get too deep into it, but just starting from like the 80s. Like, let's go only back to the 80s, right? And the dismantling of the black household, right? These are traumas that just keep passing down. Like, no one really knows how to love each other no more, and what that looks like. One thing I do value about Ghana and the way that the men treat the women is that the men value the home. You know, there's not but there's not as many deadbeat fathers. You know, people take care of their children here. Even if they have multiple people, like the children, there's not that many people who don't know their daddy. In fact, I've noticed, based off of like just my demographic, there's more people whose moms have left compared to their dads. Like, everyone here pretty much has a dad.
But do you think some tradition is damaging though? Because what I realize is, yes, they may stay in the home, but they may cheat. And the children may witness it. So that's also very damaging too. So what's the answer?
Man.
How can we really fix our issues in-house? Do you think that men should come here and date the women, and then, you know, the balance of the two? Or do you think that we should just align and then, you know, with people who we are, like, you know, like-minded people?
That's crazy, because now it's like just about the collective consciousness, right? And how are we gonna free ourselves?
The only way we can free ourselves is to erase patriarchy.
I mean, that's the root of it.
And like some traditional cultures, yes, the man being in the home, taking care of it, but don't force a relationship if it's not working. You know?
Also, what I've noticed here is that although the men are on the head here in Ghana, this is actually a matriarchal country. If you look, the women are the ones with the babies on their back selling the food, breadwinning. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the women here provide for their families, and I think that's why it's such a disconnect, and why things are so off balance, is because the women are doing a lot of,
but they don't get the credit.
Great work, but they don't get the credit or the respect. Because I don't see men out here with babies on their back selling things. And I mean, there are men in the streets selling stuff, but I see them begging for money more than selling. Like, anytime a woman come up to the window, she has something
to sell.
You know, the women, there's market women. The women all in the market, just all women.
I noticed that too. And that's what I like about Ghana. You know, they are trying to be independent. They're not trying to, you know, like, everybody's looking for opportunity and freedom, I think, overall, you know, to spread your wings. So let's get back to the creative field. So what opportunities have you made for yourself here in the creative field in Ghana?
And as far as like directing and that deal, I've worked with a lot of
And how did you do it?
It came in, so through Freedom Skate Park, I met a lot of creatives, and through like mutuals. One of them was Six. She's an amazing director here. Like, she's my mentor. Like, bro, that's my woman. And what had happened is that I also was friends with another artist, and he showed me one of his songs, and he didn't have any music video. I'm like, let me just pull out my phone and let's make a little cheap little music video. We did it in one night. We shot it, and I showed it to her, and she was just impressed with just my willingness to do it. When I look back at it, it's like, it kind of sucks, but I could see why she took me under her wing and encouraged me to continue on.
So that's basically what opened the doors for you.
She could put me
so it's networking that gave you that opportunity.
Everything here is networking. It's really hard to build something from the ground up, definitely as an expat, without knowing anyone. And that's why I say it's not necessarily networking with other expats, but networking with the locals.
Everyone. Everyone. Yeah, I agree. So, do you ever see yourself returning to America to live?
Nah. I know that there's so many other countries that I want to experience, and I think the American dream bubble has been popped for me. So it's kind of hard for me to want to long for a house in LA, like a nice beachfront house, when I see beautiful beachfront houses here. So maybe, when I make it,
I realize go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, maybe when I realize and I make it and I have just some extra throwaway money, I'll go visit the States, and I might have a little house there.
Exactly,
but it's not gonna
like
be
a business opportunity there. Like an investment.
I'm not looking to live there.
So like I wouldn't live there again. Honestly, I feel like I've been looking for Ghana my whole life. Like, I loved LA. I like Atlanta's party life. I like LA's tropical scenery. I love the hustle in New York. All of that is here in Ghana. It's all here. Everything that I loved in New York, in America separately, is grouped up here. It's crazy, from the environment to the architecture to the culture and everything. So what do you think is a real American dream? I feel like you're part of my spirit tribe, so I already know what you're going to say, but go ahead and say it.
What's
the real American dream?
I don't even know, because it's the American nightmare.
Yeah, it is a nightmare. I personally think the American dream is getting the citizenship, getting the money, and bringing it to
that is the American dream, and like that's why I really do admire my parents, because they did that.
They were pioneers.
They really did that. And all the expats here, the ones that are part of AAAG, like, I really do commend them, because what we're setting the base, like, we're the pioneers for this right now. And it's hard to make it in the States. So to make enough money to come to a country and then sustain yourself, that is a big
Even if it's not Africa, you have many other places to choose. That is a real American.
So that is the American dream, is being able to get the money.
That's what the rich do.
Bring it here. Like, I understand. Like, I just understand so much now too, because also moving out of the States realizes how much things were in excess in the States, how much stuff I really don't need. So then it also teaches you how to be smarter with money.
A minimalist.
So I think that I do have such a big advantage growing up in the States, and like I'm glad that is my birth country.
What do you feel like you are blessed to bring here from America with you? It could be a character trait. I personally think, like, individualism, freedom, hustle.
Exactly. Like, all those things. I think creativity, definitely for my field, creativity is my best gift that I have to be able to bring here, because being in America, that's the melting pot. You get so many different things. I have so many different references. I go and I work with clients, and like they'll say something and I have a reference off the top of my head. How media driven the States is. Oh
girl, I'm an English teacher. I just got into my field. Hold on.
That's fine. Just how media driven they are. I was able to soak in so much Some of the things that I soaked in is sad, but a lot of the things I can use here and spread. You know, Ghana, Ghanaians are so excited to learn new things, and definitely right now I keep saying that Ghana is in the midst of a renaissance, definitely with the building of the alternative culture.
Is there anything you miss about America?
I know it's bad for me, but the food,
the variety, right?
And like I'm from Texas,
New York. Imagine,
but I miss my Mexicans. Like, I miss
my beef patty and my cocoa bread.
Yeah, like,
oh my God, girl, you could get anything in New York.
The Mexican food, like, that's really what I miss. I also like. Here in Ghana, like, there's other cultures here, but I know it sounds crazy, but like the Mexican culture is such a big part of being in Texas.
Oh,
you don't realize it, but it really is.
Wow. And so, I like Mexican food. I could cook a good quesadilla, girl.
I've had to learn how to make my own tortillas just being here, because you can't get nothing
there. Yeah, so, we might need to start a Mexican restaurant out here or something.
It's big business. Yeah.
All right. So if you could visit any other African countries, which ones would you visit?
It's really hard because I want to see everything. Right now, though, I want to go to Nigeria as quick as possible, just because business. I know a lot of people in the industry there, definitely when it comes to filming and directing, and like Nollywood. It's amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
So what other industries do you think is can fill some gaps out here that people can come out here and work in those fields besides the creative industry? Or if it's in the creative industry, which creative would benefit here?
I think anything creative wise, there's never gonna be someone who can give the world what you can give them.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be an opening for you. Anything that has to do with like building regulations, I do believe that you're needed.
We're saying marketing.
Marketing. There's a huge gap in marketing here.
Yeah, huge.
And
customer service. Branding, like, really, honestly, everything. That's what I love about Ghana and Africa overall. Most places in Africa, there's this clean slate, and whatever skills you have built in America, you take it here in the right timing, and you could definitely benefit and open some doors out here.
Yeah, I think, like, even the Ghanaian people say, like, they just got their independence not too long ago. This is a baby country.
Yeah,
so you really can make it yours and do anything.
Yeah,
I really believe that anything is possible here.
Exactly. So what do your friends think about you living here in Africa? Do they think you're crazy? Like, are they inspired by you?
Yeah, so I think majority are inspired by me. They do tell me, like, they're very proud of the work that they see me do. I think, though, it'd be a shame to, like, or it'd be like a disservice to people watching who are planning on moving to any country, to not share, though, that there is a huge pit of loneliness that I went through, because I noticed that already in America, we're in our own bubbles. Yeah. Right? So when you're out of sight, you are out of mind. Yeah. And so my best friends, like all my friends in the States, I grew up with them. I went to school with them. Like, I'm talking about like 6+ year friendships. Yeah. But since I'm not there and I'm not experiencing,
you don't know what's going on.
And it's a totally different reality here. My day looks so different
than someone in America.
So you start to feel the difference. Yeah. And there becomes less and less for you to talk about. Definitely if your friends aren't in the same field as you, and even if they are, because I have friends in the creative field, it's so different. And it's not jealousy. Yeah. It's not jealousy, but
just lack of
understanding and seeing how much I've progressed in such a short amount of time. Yeah. I can feel that they don't see it as deserving sometimes. Yeah. Because of how abundant things
coming for you, right?
And I think that's like the case with any type, when you're in a journey, in a spiritual journey in general, no one sees the work, the true work that you have to do.
And nobody sees your vision. One thing that I've realized is when you come out here, a lot of people will doubt you. Some people, unless you're lucky.
Yeah.
But, they, you know, and it's a lot of, it's coming from their subconscious. They fear doing something as bold as moving to another continent and starting fresh. So they're going to try to talk you out of your reality. So that's why I didn't share my move with a lot of people. Then even then they still gave me unsolicited advice that I didn't ask for. And honestly, now 3 years later, me being here and scaling so much, and people have seen the growth, you know, they're inspired, but they sometimes won't tell you, but they'll tell you like, hey, now I'm thinking about starting my YouTube and moving to another country, you know. And it's like, well, thanks for not giving me the credit, but I don't need credit because I know I'm inspiring people. And that's not, honestly, I didn't do that. I didn't do it to be inspired. I did it because I had a vision, you know, and some people just won't see that vision.
And that's how it is. It's like, when you're
ask you, that's what I was going to say. They'll ask you why first, then they'll ask you how. Yeah.
And I know that just like with like trying to explore who I am and myself, like when you walk in purpose and in your purpose,
exactly,
people, it's not even about being inspiring anymore or what other people think. It's just naturally going to happen. You're naturally going to inspire people. And so like,
because you're being authentic.
And like, there's ignorance in the States. So when I come here, they're like, why would you want to do there? They in the bushes and all these type of things. But now when I'm posting all these things, I'm showing them my nails that I got done for $5. Like,
and the village, you know, we could show, that's what I love about Ghana. You see the traditional sides and the modern. It's a mixture.
Yeah. And now it's like, oh, when can I visit you? What's it looking like? And rather than being like, oh, what happened? You welcome them because now they're coming into their understanding, like,
and they're open,
and everyone has their own journey and timing and things like that.
Exactly.
And I think that's why coming here, like coming to Ghana, has helped me so much spiritually, because I'm realizing also like how projection truly works.
Exactly.
A lot of the things that people speak onto you, it's subconscious. It's just subconscious, like,
it's
and
energy.
That's themselves speaking, you know. And so I've also learned to let people talk.
Yeah, just let them talk.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think also definitely with the way that I came here, both times that I came to Ghana, I abruptly left. And I held a lot of guilt because I was in a relationship the last time I came here.
So you had to go back.
I didn't even like. I came to visit in 2022, and I got these opportunities. I was like, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah. So what made you step out of that relationship? Is it to chase your purpose? You feel like it's more important?
I felt like that was what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
And it hurt a lot. But luckily, like, that's how you know if people are really meant to be in your life and stuff like that, because someone should be able to recognize, like, this girl was doing real estate, doing regular people stuff. You know that I'm a creative person.
But
you know what I
have a bigger divine
have a bigger purpose. And so, luckily though, when it came to that, I wasn't made to feel super guilty about it. But of course, you're gonna have guilt because you feel like you're abandoning things.
Yeah, and abandoning.
I grew up, and I grew up Christian, and so
that's shame as well.
That's shame, and then it's also like the looking back at and you turn to a pillar of salt. That's genuinely how I felt. It was like, if I was to go back to the States, I'm kind of closing the door on maybe some opportunities or a life that I had. So if I would have so if I would have went back to chase that relationship, who knows if I'd even be with that person now, right? You know what I'm saying? But I would have completely closed the door, closed myself to opportunities here. So it's always about putting yourself first. Like,
so this is a spirituality topic. Do you believe in purpose, mates?
Oh, of course.
And how does that align for you?
I think a lot of people that
identify your purpose, mate. Like, what are some things you look for?
They always test you in a way. I know
there's always a boundary.
A boundary to which they can test you?
No, like a boundary between you two.
I feel like, yes, to some type of degree. I believe so. even if it's like a subconscious one, or it could be a physical one.
Or fear. Yeah. So what would your advice be for anyone who feels like stuck to a old self, old relationship, and they feel guilt like walking away from that? What advice do you have for them?
I remember this is like such the basic book for like the beginning spirituals, but The Alchemist,
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to. You gotta walk away, and I genuinely believe if something is meant for you, it will come back. And so that test of you walking away is the test, right? And if they come back into your life, or however they react to that, will let you know.
Yeah,
it'll let you know. So
exactly.
It's gonna hurt though. I'm not gonna say I didn't cry myself to sleep some nights, but it was very much needed. These tests I put myself through. Just recently, I lost one of like my best friends. Like we stopped being cool. I'll get candy. But like I went through like a little bit of a depression. So like I'm smoking more often. I'm drinking more often, and so you build friends that are, it reflects your surroundings. So my friends too, like they come over, we just smoke and drink all day. We're not doing anything.
It's crazy. The more authentic I become, the more I feel like I attract like-minded people, like spirited people, not minded, spirit. Yeah.
And so when I cut those things out of my life, those friendships fell apart.
Yeah.
But even then, they served me purpose.
When you choose your higher self. Exactly.
Yeah. So I even see that friend as a purpose person, because they taught me so much about who I am in these situations, how I react, and the type of people that I attract while I'm in these
and
periods.
What you don't want versus what you do want.
Exactly. You gotta get sometimes what you don't want in order to know what you
want. Right, exactly. To know the complete opposite. Everything is vibration and energy, and there's duality to everything. I agree. So to finish off, what is your advice for people who want to move here? I know you said timing is a big thing, but what else can you advise people who would like to move here and they're not quite sure just yet?
I will say, this is like I recorded a video not too long ago about this, and it was like, your old life will cost your new one.
Oh, nice.
And it's just that when you come to a new country, it's a new world, it's a new reality, you're in a new space. You cannot be scared to do away with things, get rid of some things, purge yourself, purge your heart. It's gonna be scary, but it's needed so you can come here and live anew. Things here, like I said, it grows fast. Everything's abundant. You throw a seed on the ground, it'll grow, it'll sprout. But you have to work the land. You gotta till the land first.
So as she mentioned earlier, she felt called to be here. A lot of people mention like, I feel a calling to be here. It's really a spiritual journey, and everything is energy, duality. If we didn't go through what we've been through in America, we wouldn't know how amazing it is to be here in Ghana and just start from fresh, and it's just once you align with wanting to grow spiritually, wanting to just travel and see the world, you have to sacrifice your old self, and it's a complete journey. It's nothing that can be rushed or skipped, and so if you guys want to come here to Ghana, just take baby steps, and don't let people sway your decision, because it's all a personal journey at the end of the day, and some things do have to be sacrificed for you to live a new life. If anyone wants to find you, where can they locate you? What's your handle?
Yes. So on Instagram, it is Creatrix. It's CREATRIX_. Yeah. Can I give a little background on my name? Because I think it's interesting. Okay. So Creatrix comes from the creator, but the female version would be creatress.
Okay.
But I don't believe that I have the power like the Most High to create in the grand way that he does.
We're just co-creators.
Yeah. So I can create within the matrix.
Exactly.
Which ends with the IX. So creatrix. artist.
Nice.
I like that. IX.
I like that. Yeah. So you guys, if you want a creative director here in Ghana, she is bomb. I've actually worked with her recently, and I'll be releasing the vlog on that. So you guys stay tuned and you'll see more from her because we plan to collaborate in the near future. So I hope we were able to give you guys some insight. And if you like videos like this, make sure you hit that notification bell or subscribe. Anything is appreciated. Thank you for tuning in. One love. Bye.